Let's get right to it. Marvel's Spider-Man, the latest effort from Insomniac Games, is quite possibly one of the best superhero games of all time, and inarguably the finest game starring the Warcrawler to date. It's not quite the Arkham beater you might have been hoping for, but it does come pretty damn close. Insomniac's take on Spidey doesn't attempt to tie into the comic books or to the MCU version of the character played by Tom Holland. Instead, they've opted to create their own take on their character, one that fuses elements from both the comic books and the movies. Classic villains rear their heads in some of the most memorable and creative boss battles we've ever seen in a big-budget video game, with Insomniac making fantastic use of Spidey's unique powers to create thrilling and truly memorable set pieces that don't rely too much on quick-time events anywhere near as much as the previous trailers for the game had led us to believe. Even if you don't have a GCSE in Spider-Man history, there are enough twists, turns, and suitably shocking character moments over the course of the 20-hour story to keep players invested, thanks in no small part to some fantastic vocal performances and detailed facial animations. This game truly has all the makings of a classic Spider-Man story, and by the time the credits roll, you'll be desperate for a sequel. Guiding the webhead through a beautifully realized New York City is an absolute joy, with fluid movements and tight responsive controls ensuring that you'll be gracefully pirouetting your way across Manhattan in no time at all. Spidey's animations are absolutely gorgeous, and Insomniac have smartly added a parkour button, which means if you swing into a building or any other solid object, you'll simply bounce off or run along and be on your way without bringing your momentum to a grinding halt. In the first few hours of play, you'll be too distracted by all the fun little side missions to even be thinking about getting on with the story. Don't get us wrong, Marvel's Spider-Man doesn't reinvent the wheel in terms of open world activities by any stretch, but because the simple act of getting from A to B is so enjoyable, you won't mind the occasional repetitive crime or collectible. After all, swinging along before jumping down to stop a random mugging or kidnapping before carrying on is what being Spider-Man is all about, and these random side events feel so seamless thanks to a smooth, fluid combat system, they rarely disrupt your spidery day. There are also civilians to save and car chases to get involved with, but we would have liked a little more variety in this area. Completing any of these fun little diversions will contribute to unlocking cool new suits and upgrading your gear to be the best Spidey you can be, which means that everything you do while exploring the city will have some kind of tangible payoff, which might not be why Peter Parker does what he does, but we want loot, damn it! Combat is an absolute blast, by the way, and makes the most of Spidey's versatile set of powers. It takes a little getting used to at first, but you'll soon be dodging, webbing, and punching your way through hordes of goons. The game particularly seems to reward players for paying attention to their surroundings in a fight. The webhead is often able to gain an advantage by throwing objects at enemies or pulling heavy environmental hazards down to immobilize foes. Any bad guys that are close to the walls can be webbed to take them out of the fight, while Spidey can even bounce off objects to take out multiple threats at once. There are sections where you'll explore areas as Peter, learning more about other characters and even solving the occasional lightweight logic puzzle in the lab you work at, which nets you materials which can also be used to craft new equipment and suits. These parts of the game aren't terrible, but they can interrupt the flow of the web-slinging action and, at times, come dangerously close to feeling like padding. So too do the Mary Jane gameplay sections, which combine basic stealth and Uncharted-style puzzles as our intrepid Daily Bugle reporter investigates the game's larger mystery alongside Spider-Man. As the name of the game suggests, however, Spider-Man is the real star of the show here. Whether you're out exploring the game's massive open world and high-fiving New Yorkers on the street, or chasing down a stolen car while you listen to J. Jonah Jameson discuss your latest exploits on his unintentionally hilarious podcast, Insomniac Games have done an absolutely stunning job of creating a believable, lived-in world for the webhead to inhabit. Simply put, Marvel's Spider-Man is a triumph on almost every level. Even the occasional bit of padding in the story and some repetitive crimes can't get in the way of a game that looks incredible, plays even better, and manages to tell one of the most exciting stories in a video game this year. If you're a fan of the web slinger, or even if you're just after a truly polished and rewarding AAA experience to keep you busy for a week or two, you need this game. Spider-Man has never been this amazing. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe to UNILAD Gaming for more.